Hey everyone, this is Nemesis with another video review. This is Transformers Titans Return Deluxe Class Arcee and Ultra Magnus, along with Leinad. This is of course the HASCON exclusive, although it is also coming to Toys R Us in short order. So there you go, if you didn't miss out on the initial orders, which yeah, they went pretty quickly. You have another chance. This is why this review exists. Yeah, here it is, pink car and everything. But, of course, it comes with this, in this, large black box with the Autobot logo on it and just the ages and stuff. This is actually kind of a weird box because there's not a lot on it. I mean, it's just black, 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 Transformers logo. And then on the back, it's just copyrights and warnings. But inside, that's where things change a bit. Inside here, you have the bio or tech spec cards for Arcee and Ultra Magnus. Right there. Yep. They're both still in the plastic, because I don't want to tear up this box yet. You also have little outlines of the figures and, well, quite frankly, light glare. And if you open that up, you'd see the bigger artwork of the Arcee tech spec card. Plus, on this side, this is where Arcee sits, and there's the instructions behind the plastic, which I haven't gotten out yet because I have to wait to cut away the plastic to get to them. And that's where Ultra Magnus will sit. Again, glare and stuff because of lights. But it's actually a really nice presentation, all things considered. I was really enjoying this, and also there's a little Titans Return logo right there. And there's the characters who come in it. Leinad. Funny enough, probably figured this out by now, but Leinad is actually Daniel backwards. Because, yes, if you remember back in the Rebirth, Daniel became Arcee's headmaster. So, yep, that was the box. So, moving on from there, we're going to go ahead and look at Ultra Magnus here. Because, well, why not? Tiny one. And, yep, you got Ultra Magnus. It's pretty much the same body as the Rodimus and Thunderwing Titan Masters from the box sets, which indicates, yes, there probably was a plan for a third box set at the very least, even as, well, it seems to be canceled now. But yes, it's the same body, and I believe the same head, although it's white with a little bit of blue and red on the head, but nothing beyond that, no other paint. It's also a die-cast head, which is actually pretty nice. And it's got the little posability that all Titan Masters use, so little ball-jointed shoulders are kind of limited thanks to sculpt, and hips and knees, which moves in tandem. But you can all fold that up, of course. And hey, look, you got the big Ultra Magnus head. It's actually a pretty nice head. I think the mouth is a little weird looking. But other than that, it's pretty nice. Mine's nicely painted. Again, die cast. So the only problem is standing up as a Titan Master, he has a tendency to fall over a bit because of the weight on his back. But other than that, it's still a pretty solid thing. Paint's nice. Looks like Ultra Magnus, so there you go. Figures, you can put them on. I personally think of all the existing Titans Return stuff without having to customize. I think Highbrow is probably your best bet. See, because well, blues and whites. It actually fits in pretty well. What's actually funny is it actually the head holds on more securely than the default Highbrow head, which is kind of funny to me. But yeah, this head works pretty well with this body. I suspect if you customized a Voyager class Optimus or Laser Prime, you could get a pretty good Ultra Magnus out of that. Maybe the Jinrai or Power Master molds. But that would require a helmet over top, because these heads are kind of small for a leader class figure. Yeah, gonna go ahead and move on though to Arcee herself. And yep, it's a pink car. A little pink futuristic sports car type thing, which is what she's supposed to be. She never got an original G1 toy, but we had to wait a long time for a G1-esque Arcee. This is the second version. But yeah, it's a nice car. It rolls pretty well. Thanks to the little wheels. Yes, it is the blur mold. Pretty heavily retooled, but blur mold. The nice shade of pink here. Lots of little gray detailing here, like the vents in the back. All picked out in gray. There's the white here. This is all white paint, by the way. This is all painted white, remolded front end, the blue headlights, the little white paint on the pink canopy. It's actually really well done, and also white paint right here. Really well done. I like it quite a bit. And also the remolded, I guess, rocket pod thing on the back. Makes it look kind of 50s. So that weird 50s retro futuristic thing. But yeah, it's actually a really nice vehicle mold. I actually like this mold, the original Blur. I actually like. So here's the original Blur. You can see, you know, lots of similarities, although the front ends are very heavily redone. And same with the fins. See, this fin is more squared off versus this rounder one. And you see the front ends, this is a longer, pointier one. Although it's actually not that much longer. It's probably maybe about, I want to say, maybe a centimeter longer if you don't count the gun. But because of the fact this is narrower, it kind of has that illusion of looking longer than it actually is. This makes it look stubbier. So that's a nice little thing. Also, quick comparison to the Generations Arcee. You can see Generations Arcee's vehicle mode is noticeably smaller than the Titan's Return version. You can see it's shorter and stubbier and everything. This is more like the original Arcee design in G1 in a way, but this is also a really nice vehicle as well. It kind of comes down to personal preference. I know a lot of people were kind of sticking with the Generations Arcee, and I don't blame them. It's a nice figure in of itself. But this is not a bad one. I actually like this one a lot. Again, I like this mold a lot, so I think this was actually a good mold for Arcee. It kind of comes down to, do you have a Generations one, and are you okay with having multiple Arcees and stuff like that? So yeah, that's a thing you have to decide for yourself. I like this mold. It works really well for Arcee. It's a really nice working of the Arcee car mode within the confines of the Blur mold. But again, the Generations one is more accurate overall. Just, it's more obvious though that there's kind of a robot just folding underneath the shell, versus this was kind of blends in a little better. Other dynamics of the car, down here you probably notice these gray things. These are the guns. I have them pointing backwards for the sake of compressing the vehicle mode down a little bit. But you can remove them and just plug them in forward like this. And then you have, I guess, your attack mode. See, they stick out a little bit more. But so you got the guns pointing forward, and then you have the... so you can do it either way. I personally prefer to have them rotated around so that they're pointing backwards and they're just hidden away. It just looks a little better in my opinion. But yeah, of course, just like all the other versions of the Blur mold, you can open the canopy. And there's Leinad, or Daniel. I'm just going to call him Daniel now. And yeah, Leinad here, Daniel. Hey, I already broke my promise. Oops. Yeah, Daniel here. Mostly white. He's got a little bit of dark gray on his shins, but it's pretty much almost entirely white, except again for the silver head as well. I'll get back to the silver head, but yeah, that's a silver painted head. There's no facial detail. I believe Takar's releasing a version which actually is clear plastic with a little bit of painted head inside, which is kind of crazy and seems like it'll be fragile, but what do I know? They might work out just pretty well after all. I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty solid little Titan Master. Just again, I wish there was a little bit more paint, but they just, you know, pick out stuff to make it look more like the exosuit like it's supposed to be representing. But it's still a pretty nice little Titan Master, just again, because it's Titan Master, nothing to write home about, but it does have all the same articulation all Titan Masters do. So anyway, that's it for that. Moving on to Arcee here with the transformation. First thing you got to do is take these arms and pull them out to the side, just like normal with the Blur mold. Take these arms out. And I'm going to pause right here. You're going to fold this down, but also you can remove that. That's the hood. Take this little bit and extend it out. And you can put Daniel here in the thing, and now you got a little gun skiff thing. You can have this all folded up and attach it to the side. Like that. It's a little silly looking like this, but hey, you can do that if you want. You have the little skiff. But that's just something you can do. That's that. But moving on. Got the arms folded out and hood down. Next thing you want to do is take these legs right here, open them up right here, and then unfold it like that. Fold the legs. Then in the front here, take the little rocket pod, fold in the leg, close it up, close the other leg up. And then you unfold the feet. Then this part, you open the canopy up. You open the canopy up so you can fold the seat in and close up the canopy. And then you take the arms, fold them up, and take this backpack and fold it down. Yes, the guns can stay in there when it's folded down. Fold those all the way up until the click, and then take these little things around the hands, fold them back like this. Stand her up, adjust the camera. And then you take Daniel, you fold that up, and you plug it in, and you have Arcee in her robot mode. Right, so the robot mode here. A lot of the differences between the blur and Arcee here kind of disappear in this mode, except for the obvious paint. But molding wise, there's not a whole lot of differences here. The shoulders are a little different. They have the kind of the pseudo what the D1 Arcee did with the front of the car, kind of faked here with these shoulders and the little rounded shoulder pods. But otherwise, it's a lot of the molding's the same. Except, obviously the head. But yeah, the head itself, speaking of, it's nicely picked out. Yeah, the head's picked out. You know, you get the lighter shade of pink for the face. You got the blue eyes and the little blue crest thing. You also got these little side things, the pink for there. They don't go all the way back to the arms, unfortunately, but yeah. I mean, from the front, it looks great. It's a great head sculpt. From there, you got, you know, the little white triangle, this little white piece right here, which emulates the original's little design. There's no blue thing, unfortunately. But, you know, this is white and pink. I really like the paint work on the legs here. You know, the pink, you know, little pink highlights with a mostly white shin, and then also the white foot with the little pink stripe around the toes. I really like how this looks overall. Again, it's a really nice balance of pinks and whites. So it's actually a really nice figure. I really like how it looks in robot mode as well. Again, I really like this mold, so of course, I think it made a pretty good Nautica, and I think it makes a pretty good Arcee. Best with what they have to offer. Of course, these guns here, pull them out from back here, and she can wield them. They're just they're 5mm compatible, so both go in their hands, no problem. And the other thing is, yes, once again, yes, this little hood piece can pop off. There's this peg here, which goes in this hole, and now she's got a shield, just like every other version of this mold. She can have a shield as well. So there you go, Arcee. They're all, I guess, weaponed up. Her head, the composability, yeah, her head can twist left and right and whatnot. It's still the Titan Master. The thing is, this one has a little problem. The shape of the head on Daniel here. The problem is, you can see that the head is very much conical shape, a very conical shape. The problem is with that conical shape is that it fits in there just fine, but to keep it compatible with all the other Titan Masters, the Titan Master hole is still the same hole. So what happens is when you try to turn the head, it'll often just pop right out because there's not enough resistance there for it to hold in. So you have to like put a lot of force on the head, and then you can rotate it. Then it works just fine. But if you just try to rotate it normally, it'll often just pop itself out of its socket, which is really unfortunate. It's kind of an unfortunate design flaw, but it's kind of necessary if you want, you know, Daniel to be the headmaster with a design and everything. Yeah, you know, so the head can look up and down a little bit. It can wiggle left and right. It can look left and right, wiggle and all that stuff. But it's a little loose, and again, it's because of the design of the Titan Master head. So that's a little drawback, unfortunately. But shoulders on ball joints, so forward, back, outward on this little swivel thing. Again, knock the head out of position. The problem is with these shoulder design, they have a tendency to kind of knock in the head unless it's a very specific position. She's got bicep swivels, kind of loose on mine. Elbows, about 90 degrees. She got wrist swivels, which is nice. That's not very common anymore, but she has wrist swivels. She's got a waist swivel. It's a nice one, full 360 degree, unhindered. Let's see, check with the backpack on real quick. I believe though it shouldn't. Yeah, Still, even with the backpack on and completely unhindered. Hips. All the way forward. Head came off, because again, that is the biggest problem with this figure, is it's a really loose head, and that's because of the design of the Titan Master. But all the way back, especially if the backpack's out of the way, all the way back, all the way out for full splits. Knees, more than 90 degrees, so you got a nice little bend there. You also got thigh swivels above it. And, well, feet, there's not much. You can move the toe a little bit, but that doesn't really help much, in my opinion. So, yeah, though, it's got good posability for a deluxe Titan's Return figure. Again, though, the biggest problem is just this head is a problem, just because the design of it makes it so it's super loose. You can just, it's wobbly and loose, and just, it likes to pop out really easily. And that's the biggest flaw of this figure. But otherwise, it's solid. Just again, here's comparison to the other version of this mold, Blur. You can see that, yep, pretty much the same mold. A lot of its biggest difference is beside color. The shoulders are different molds, but otherwise, most of the molding's almost identical. I believe, wait, no, the arms are pretty much the same too. I believe the fists are a little different though. Yeah, the fists look different. So that's a little difference there. And here she is with the Generations Arcee, which, yeah, this Generations Arcee is a bit slimmer overall, just more petite, I guess. She's also, you know, noticeably a little bit shorter, but yeah, this is still a good figure, but this is also a good figure. I don't think you can really go wrong with either Arcee. And it was also nice if you have both Arcees, like I do. These guns that Titan's Return Arcee comes with are actually compatible with Generations Arcee. Because they're squared off pegs rather than the usual rounded ones. These are actually compatible, and she holds them pretty securely, more securely than she does her swords. And this also means that, yes, Titan's Return Arcee can actually use Generations Arcee's swords. Such, see? But, yeah, that's actually pretty nice that there's a bit of cross compatibility there. I was not expecting that at all. So, yep, that's the thing. It's pretty nice that it's there. But, yeah. That's Titan's Return Arcee, the new one. Again, it's $25 for the set of Arcee and Ultra Magnus here, who's been off to the side for this entire time because he didn't really have much use for most of this review. But yeah, $25. If you like the Ultra Magnus too, that's what bumps up the price. This is the die-cast Ultra Magnus, and I guess possibly the fancy packaging. I'm not sure what if the Toys R Us version is going to have the same packaging or not. But it's overall a really nice figure. Just biggest flaw, I think, is that head. That head is just the biggest flaw. It's kind of loose. Other than that, it's a really nice mold. It's a really solid version of the mold. The only loose parts in mine really are the biceps and the hips. Everything else is a nice tight joints. It's got a nice paint work and detailing. It's just a nice mold. It's just a nice figure overall. I think it's worth the $25, especially if you like the Ultra Magnus. Again, it's one of the things a lot of people aren't really like thrilled with it. They think it's kind of useless, and I understand that because you have to find a figure that can work on all that stuff. But if you want the Ultra Magnus and the Arcee, it's definitely worth the $25. I suspect a lot of people will be willing to buy the Ultra Magnus if you don't want that. But it's worth the $25, if barely. Don't go pay scalper price, especially again since Toys R Us is going to be carrying this, despite the whole money woes they're having. It's a nice figure. Buy it if you want a new Arcee. If you don't want the new Arcee, or because you already have the old one, you just don't want a pink toy, that's fine. But I think she's worth it. So that's enough of my rambling. Tune in next time for another review. Hopefully I'll have another one up shortly, and hope this review was helpful or entertaining, and I'll see you next time.